Assalamu alaikum everyone. Acha, so guys listen up. I will tell you how to go about the mock. Here's what you need to do. I can see a lot of students have joined, so that's great. So you will find a link in the description. ठीक है. Walaikum assalam. So I would like you guys to quickly go on the link in description. Ab dekho, there are two ways that you guys can give the mock. Please listen to the instructions very carefully. One link you will see is where you can give the mock and get it graded also. ठीक है. learning8.ai वाला link होगा. Okay, so click on that link. It will take you to a sign up page. Sign up there. Give your details, name, email address, and you will see on the top left कि download PDF करके एक option होगा. Download the PDF. You can use the PDF, print it out, do whatever. Once you're done, then what you have to do is you have to submit the mock at the bottom right. ठीक है, नहीं कोई hack नहीं होगा. Bottom right पे एक option होगा. In fact, top left पे upload file का option होगा. Bottom right पे submit का option होगा. Do that, and that's it. आपका mock फिर submit हो जाएगा. फिर it's gonna take a while for it to be graded. ठीक है? So yeah. Can anyone quickly access and tell me कि आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा? Okay, great. So I'm gonna disable the chat. ठीक है? अच्छा, if you guys have trouble opening that link, there is an alternative link also. Okay? It's gonna take a while, but if you guys have trouble opening that link, there is an alternative link. In the link in description, you will find a link to PDF only. ठीक है? उस पे if you go, you will be able to just download the PDF. ठीक है? So हाँ, Dropbox में भी आ रहा है. Refresh करो, अब Dropbox में भी आ रहा है. Okay, so refresh, you will find it in Dropbox as well now. So I hope everyone's found it. No, this is Cambridge, guys. This is not AQA. Okay, if you click on the first link, then you can get it through, you can get it graded also. The AI link didn't work. Okay, it should work. Achha, because we're testing this out for the first time, that's why we've given you more time to submit. AI link should work. Can anyone confirm if the AI link is working, yes or no? It is working? ठीक है, great. Alright, so चलें, good luck to you guys. इसको करें, 2 घंटे बाद हम इंशाल्लाह इसको डिस्कस करेंगे, okay? Assalamu alaikum everyone. क्या हाल है आप लोगों के? एक मिनट, हाँ, just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay. Acha, did you guys use the AI feature to get your marks? Yes or no? And please give me feedback whether it worked or not. So I opened the website and says upload files in the top right corner. I press that. ठीक है. I can see कि कुछ लोगों के marks आ रहे हैं. Let me actually see the marks. एक मिनट, हाँ. I'm using it for the first time, so I need some time to get the hang of it. यार फन मुझे ओके एक मिनट ज़रा डिस्कस करते हैं. इतने में अगर किसी और की सबमिशन रह गई ना तो वो सबमिशन मेक श्योर दैट यू कंप्लीट योर सबमिशन. लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन सी योर मार्क्स. ओह या आई कैन सी योर मार्क्स. Okay guys, sorry about that. I was just trying to figure out where to see your submissions from. I can see them now. So Uzair Suhail ke aaye 76. फिर there is Samir who has gotten 75. Good job Samir, good job Uzair. Safwan has gotten 74, Naveed 73, Marwa 72, Faizan 72. Then there's Ryan 64. So good job. Anything above 70 is anything above 65 is actually a good score in this. Okay. This paper was out of 79. Chale, let's begin. Is there any way to submit PDF? Yes, Muskan, there is a way to submit PDF. ठीक है. Bottom किधर है? I think top right पे लिखा हुआ है upload file, वहाँ से आप लोग कर सकते हो. ठीक है. सर आपने मुश्किल, हाँ बिल्कुल मैंने मुश्किल दिया था. That's absolutely correct. I'll tell you how I made the paper. So what I did was कि मैंने grade threshold निकाले सबसे lowest और उन papers में से questions निकाले. ठीक है. So this is how it's going to be. I am going to keep changing the difficulty level from on and off, from extremely difficult to maybe sometimes easy. Yeah, you upload the file and then wait for the result. 78 तो किसी के नहीं आया. I don't see 78. चलो let me refresh and see अगर किसी के 78 आए हैं. Highest so far is 76. नहीं वो आए हैं उज़ैर सुहेल के. Let me. Achha, this is AI, okay? So please expect like some margin of error. Yeah, so highest I see is 76. I don't see 78. ठीक है, but क्या पता आया हूँ? This is, like I said, it's AI. It's better than not grading your score at all. ठीक है? AI नहीं चल रहा बेटा. It's working. हो सकता है आपके इंटरनेट की वजह से it takes a while for their score to show, but it is working. I got 60. चलो 60 is not a score worth settling for, but for this paper I would say it's okay. ठीक है? अच्छा, yeah, math is at, oh yeah, math भी तो कराना है. Math is at 7:15. So guys, let's start. Let's discuss this paper so that I can start the next math exam. ठीक है? So find the first three terms in the expansion of 1 plus x. So ये starts easy. ठीक है? Yeah, there will be P3, don't forget. Yeah, you can still submit. ठीक है? You can still submit. I've kept the submissions open. You guys can still submit. ठीक है? So find the first three terms in the expansion of 1 plus x, the whole thing raised to the power 5. Mateen beta, this is probably the 60th time that you're telling me you've gotten 60. Good job. अब मैं क्या करूँ बेटा? What do you want me to do now? ठीक है? Okay, so yeah, there will be more. If you guys want more, there will be more, inshallah. So 1 plus x, the whole thing raised to the power 5. Let's start expanding this. Yes, beta, 60 is an okay score, but not a score worth settling for, okay? 5c0 raised to the power of 5, x raised to the power 0. So that's the second term. Then you have 5c1, 1 raised to the power 4, and then x raised to the power 1. Okay? So, sorry, 5c1 and 5c2. 5c0 to pehle hi aa gaya na. 5c1 and 5c2. So 5c1, 5c2. So 1 plus 5x plus 10x square. 5c2 plus 10x square. There you go. Sir, my file is taking 2 business days to upload. So beta, I don't know. Maybe that is because of your internet. There's not much I can do. Not good enough to justify this much yapping. Yeah, okay. Chale, let's continue. Okay, let's keep solving the paper. Find the first three terms in the expansion of x in ascending powers of 1 minus 2x, the whole thing power of 6. So the first term will be 6c0, 1 raised to the power 6 minus 2x raised to the power 0. Then the term after that will be 6c1, 1 raised to the power of 5 minus 2x raised to the power 1. Then the term after that will be 6c2, 1 raised to the power 4 minus 2x raised to the power of 2. Okay? Can you see my marks? Abdurrahman? No, I can't. Let me see. Abdurrahman, मैं अभी खोलता हूँ and I'll see कि क्या marks हैं आपके. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So the first term here will be 1. Then it's going to be minus 12x. ठीक हो गया. Then it's going to be 62. That's 15. 15 into 4 is 60. 60x square. In the end, write the answer nicely. 1 minus 12x plus 60x square. That's it. Job done. Now, ये कौन सा चैप्टर बेटा? ये बायनोमियल है, क्या मतलब है? It will be 5c1. Yeah, you actually right. 5c1, 1 raised to the power 4x raised to the power 1. Okay, now. Hence, find the coefficient of x square. So keep your eyes on the prize. We just want the coefficient of x square. Now notice that the question has already made us expand these two expressions. Acha guys, enough about the scores. Okay, now let's focus on what we're doing. P3 mock bhi hoga, inshallah, don't worry. Jab hoga, I will announce. There's plenty of time in the P3 exam. That's why I'm just going easy on P3. Okay, but there will be P3 streams, there will be P3 mocks, don't worry. So keep your eyes on the prize, and the prize is the coefficient of x square. So I'm only going to multiply the terms that give me the coefficient of x square. So 1 gets multiplied by 60. What is that equal to? That's equal to 60x square. 5x gets multiplied by minus 12x. So that is also minus 60x square. And then 10 gets multiplied by 1. Remember, you only need to multiply the terms that give you x square. So 10x square, 60x square minus 60x square cancel. And in the end, you have 10x square, which means the final answer is simply 10. So let me look at the marks one more time. I'll read them out loud. So far, the top of the table is still Uzair. Uzair, are you with us? Uzair, वैसे तो considering you've gotten 76, there's no reason why you should still be with us. Uzair, Samir, then there's Safwan. So nobody has beaten Uzair's score yet. अच्छा हो सकता है कि I can see that there are some scores still being evaluated. Okay, I can see that there are some scores still being evaluated. So let's wait. Okay, let's wait. Okay, now coming back to the stream. Yes, of course, beta, you have to upload it. If you don't upload it, तो क्या मतलब है? How exactly is it going to check? Okay, now let's solve this. Yeah, it does show the marks. You should be able to see the marks. You're there. Okay. So beta, are you watching the stream to see where you lost the 3 marks? Fair. Let's continue. So a line has equation y is equals to 3x plus k. I think I got one part wrong. Nope, it's correct. 1 plus 5x plus 10x. It is correct. So far, so good. Find the set of values of k for which the line and the curve have 2 distinct points of intersection. That means b square minus 4ac is going to be greater than 0. B square minus 4ac is greater than 0. So first things first, we are going to equate the two. Okay, so that means 3x plus k equals x square plus kx plus 6. Now let's get all the terms to the right hand side so that x square remains positive. So we have x square plus kx minus 3x plus 6 minus k equals to 0. Okay. Let's take x common so that we know what is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x will be k minus 3. X remains as it is, plus 6 minus k equals to 0. ठीक हो गया. Now a is equals to 1, b is equals to k minus 3, and c is equals to 6 minus k. ठीक है. What we want is b square minus 4ac. That means k minus 3, the whole thing square, minus 4 into 1 into 6 minus k, and we want this to be greater than 0. So here's what we get. We get k square minus 6k plus 9. 4 into 6 is minus 24. Minus 4 into minus. So that's going to be plus first of all. Plus 4k is greater than 0. Okay. Now let's simplify and see what we end up with. So we end up with k square minus 2k. 9 minus 24 is minus 15 greater than 0. Okay. Now you guys know that you can solve this using your calculator also. Okay. And I advise you to learn how to do this using your calculator. But don't solve it directly using your calculator. Why can't I see my score? Beta, it's probably being evaluated. क्या नाम है आपका? Muaz Khurram. Muaz, let me check. Muaz, M-U-A-Z. Muaz, I can see your score. It is 51 out of 79. अच्छा, I can see कुछ अभी approve नहीं हुए हैं. Moz, your score is 51 out of 79. अच्छा, hang on a minute. मैं ज़रा let me get this thing fixed. Okay, please understand we're using this for the first time, so इसमें कुछ glitches होंगे, कुछ hiccups होंगे. We'll get it fixed. Okay, just give me a minute. Acha, in a while, you guys will all be able to see your scores. Okay, just take it easy, guys. Take it easy. Okay, now. So let's do middle term breaking over here. So this is going to be k square minus 5k plus 3k minus 15 is greater than 0. Okay. Then we have k into k minus 5. Then we have plus 3 into k minus 5 also is greater than 0. This means that k plus 3 into k minus 5 is greater than 0. So first find out the critical values. Critical values matlab the actual values before we find out the range. Okay, so here are the critical values. ठीक हो गया. Remember, this is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means the range of k for which the curve is above the x-axis. So here's a quadratic curve with two x-intercepts, minus 3 and 5. Okay, we're just making a rough sketch to solve it. Now, highlight the part of the curve that is above the x-axis. This is the part of the curve that's above the x-axis. What is the range for this? The range for this is that k is greater than 5, comma, k is less than minus 3. Okay? Do not use the word and, do not use the word or, just write it like this. It will be non-calculator. My teacher cuts 1 mark for not drawing the rough sketch. Will this happen? Dekho, your teacher has my respect. If he does that, if your teacher cuts 1 mark for not drawing a rough sketch, I think your teacher is doing a fantastic job because he is trying to discipline you. Okay? It will not happen. In fact, yeah, it will happen in the exam. Let me stick to whatever your teacher has told you. Okay? So yeah, it will happen in the exam also. Okay? Anyway, let's solve the next question. Achha, yeah, learn how to do this in your calculator also. Okay, and remember, we are doing this. Repeat after me. We're doing this so that we can check our answer. Okay, we are doing this so that we can check our answer. Okay? Emphasis on the word check. Okay, so, and please understand, you can only do this in this calculator. If your calculator does not have this feature, there's not much I can do except that I can tell you to upgrade it. Okay? And if you don't show you're working, please don't expect any marks. So press menu, navigate to where you see equation / function. Here it is. To enter this mode, press equals to. No, wait a minute, sorry. Press menu, navigate to where you see inequality. Okay, here it is. If you write it like that, that k is greater than minus 3 and less than 5, you're not going to get marks. Okay, this is the only acceptable way to write it. Please understand that above is the only acceptable way to write the final answer. ठीक है, if you're thinking कि मैं थोड़ा creative हो जाऊँ, मैं पहले k लिखूँ और लिखूँ फिर greater than minus 3 less than 5, not going to work. Please understand that this is the only acceptable way to write the final answer. There's no other way that you can write this. Okay? So yeah, go on to enter the mode inequality. Now we are solving a quadratic inequality. Quadratic inequality, if you don't know, it's a second degree polynomial. So we're going to select 2 so that it gives us a second degree polynomial. Now please enter the kind of inequality we want to solve. We want to solve greater than 0. ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. So we're gonna press 1 for that. Enter the coefficient of x squared, which basically means the coefficient of k squared, that is 1. Enter the coefficient of k, which is minus 2. Enter the constant, which is minus 15. Press equals to one more time. This is what we get. We see x is less than minus 3, comma 5 is greater than x. Now this you can still write, but just make sure that there is a comma in between. Okay, all they've done is they've changed the order. That you can still write, but make sure there's a comma in between and make sure that you write it separately. X is less than minus 3 and x is greater than 5. Okay? All right. Yeah, we will have an IGCSE mock also, guys. It's on my channel, 7:15 pe hoga. Sir, I'm not able to upload. Didn't you say you were Uzair? If you're not able to upload, guys, I'm afraid the problem is at your end. Or maybe there may be a problem at my end also. Okay? I'll have to see what the problem is. Okay? Achha, tell me what exactly is the issue. If you can't able to upload, please tell me exactly क्या issue क्या आ रहा है. Okay, so let's solve this. We're supposed to find out the values of A, B, and C. अच्छा, A क्या होगा? A होगा the amplitude. Okay, so let's find out the amplitude. A will be equal to 8 minus 2. How do you find out the amplitude? Highest value minus lowest value divided by 2. So 8 minus 2 divided by 2. What do we get? We get the value of A to be equal to 5. अच्छा, जिन लोगों को अपने marks नहीं दिख रहा है, just be patient. अभी दिख जाएंगे. ठीक है? It takes a while for the mark to be graded. You will see your marks. Okay, just be patient, guys. Just be patient. Okay. Then there is the value of B. Okay, how will I find out the value of B? So what is the period of this graph? The period of this graph is pi. So to find out the value of B, I'll write down the formulas over here. Amplitude, which is basically the positive coefficient of the trigonometric function, is the highest value. Okay, is the highest value minus the lowest value divided by 2. Then to find out the period, so the new period is equal to the natural period upon the coefficient of x. Okay, I did a stream on trigonometry yesterday only, I think. So make sure to check it out. So the new period is pi, the natural period is 2 pi, divided by the coefficient of x, which is b, so b is equals to 2. Okay? So we have the value of b. All right? Now to find out the value of c, notice that this is a graph which has amplitude 5. That means this graph was meant to start from 5 and go all the way down to minus 5. But this graph is not starting from 5. Okay, so the amplitude is also the starting point of the graph of cos. So if this graph is not starting from 5, in fact it's starting from 8, what does that tell us about the value of c? That tells us that c is equals to 3. Okay? Alright, now part B. Part B says for these values of a, b, and c, use the given diagram to determine the number of solutions in the interval x is greater than or equal to 0, lesser than or equal to 2 pi for each of the following equations. Okay, now in this part it says a cos bx plus c is equals to 6 upon pi x. Achha, the first thing we need to do is we need to mark some points so that we can draw this line. Achha, the points that we're going to take them smartly. Okay, so the best point that you can take is where x is 0, so that y is also 0. So that means we have one point which is 0 and 0. Now notice that all the x coordinates are in terms of pi. Okay, so all the x values are in terms of pi. So there is no point in taking 1, 2, 3. That's just going to make life more difficult. So instead take x as pi. If you take x as pi, this is what happens. 6 upon pi into pi, pi cancel, and you're left with 6. Okay. So we have 2 points, 0, 0 and pi, comma 6. Make a straight line and see how many solutions are there. Solutions, remember, means point of intersection. So how many points of intersection do we see? We see 1, 2, 3. 3 points of intersection. 1. We see 1, 2, 3. Okay, so how many solutions do we have? We have 3 solutions. Okay. Then it says 6 minus 6 upon pi x. Okay, 6 minus. Once again, what do we need? We need some points that we can plug in and find out the number of solutions there are. Achha guys, as I'm solving this, I'm not looking at the chat, so please don't panic. If you don't see me reply to your messages, let me solve this question, then I'll look at the chat. Okay. So here's x, here's y. Let's plug in x values and see what we get. So if I plug in 0 in place of x, I get 6. So we have another point, 0, 6. Achha. If I plug in pi, so this will be 6 minus 6 upon pi into pi. So pi and pi cancel, 6 minus 6 is equals to 0. So these 2 points are good enough, pi comma 0. Let's draw this line. How many points of intersection do we see? We see points of intersection are going to be our solutions, okay? In fact, let's use a different color for this so that we don't get confused. Let's turn this green. So we see 1, 2. 2 points of intersection. So that means the answer is 2 solutions. Okay. Okay, now, sir, is the O-level mock easy? I don't know, I'll ask you guys after the mock. Sir, it gave me 0, beta. अब मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ if it gave you 0? Let me refresh and see if anyone has stopped the table yet. I think maybe I'll add a part where you guys can see your scores on the side. क्या ख्याल है? Maybe I'll add like a leaderboard or something next time. Okay. Sir, less than 0 if you should take the mid. Yep, that is correct. Sir, are we supposed to submit the entire working? Of course the entire working. The entire working. Sir, mere marks please. Name is Araf. A-E-R-A-F. Let me search. Araf beta, आपके आए हैं 68 out of 79. ठीक है. Sir, for these questions, can we just write the answer straight up? Yeah, for these questions, just write the answer straight up. बेटा आपने जिनको अपने मार्क्स देखने हैं साथ साथ अपने नाम भी बताया करें. What's the table feature of calculator? I explained it in the last stream. Sir, अभी तक submitted नहीं आ रहा. Okay, मुस्कान थोड़ा wait कर लो, आ जाएगा इंशाल्लाह. Alright guys, let's do the next question. I need to start my next stream also, although उसमें time है, but I'd like a break in between. If you don't draw the line, it's not a problem. It's just a 1-mark question. Just make sure that you write the correct answer. No, 68 is not a bad score. 68 is a pretty good score. Okay. Abdul Rahim Amir. Abdul Rahim Amir. ABDUL. There is no submission by the name of Abdul Rahim Amir. Okay, now. The first term of an arithmetic progression is A, and the common difference is -4. Okay, let's write that down. So A is equals to A, and the common difference is -4. Okay, so this is for the arithmetic progression. The first term of a geometric progression is 5A, so we also have a geometric progression, all right. So the first term is 5A, and the common ratio is -1/4. The sum to infinity of the geometric progression is equal to the sum of the first 8 terms of the arithmetic progression. Okay, let's first write this nicely. The sum to infinity of the geometric progression is equals to sum of the first 8 terms of the arithmetic progression. All right. Now, sum to infinity means A over 1 minus R. Okay, I'm not going to write down the formula. Formula is something that you guys should know already. Okay, it's given in the formula sheet anyway. So sum to infinity means 5A over 1 minus R. What is this equal to? This is equal to the sum of the first 8 terms. Sum of the first 8 terms कैसे calculate करेंगे? 8/2, bracket open, 2A plus n minus 1. N minus 1 means 7 into the common difference. What's the common difference? The common difference is -4. There we go. Okay, so I should put a multiplication sign. There we go. Okay, now find the value of A. Okay, अब इससे A की वैल्यू कैसे निकलेगी अभी देखते हैं. So this turns out to be 5A over 1 minus R. ठीक है. अच्छा, R is 1/4. Okay, so I forgot कि R की value -1/4 is already given. -1/4. So 1 minus 1/4, that becomes 5/4. All right. Now let's simplify inside the bracket. Let's see what's going on there. So it becomes 2A minus 28. All right. So 5 divided by 5/4. 5 divided by 5/4. What's that equal to? That's equal to 4. So guys, when I'm solving, I'm not looking at your chat. So please take it easy. Okay. No need to panic. So 5 divided by 5/4 is equals to 4 into 2A minus 28. ठीक हो गया? No, wait a minute. I think I've done something wrong. Sorry, 4A. Yeah. So this 4 and this 4 cancel. So A is equals to 2A minus 28, which means A is equals to 28. That's it. That's the answer. Okay, now let's see what part B says. Part B says the kth term of the arithmetic progression is 0. Find the value of K. Okay, now the kth term of the arithmetic progression is 0. So what do we know about the arithmetic progression? This is what we know. So अभी तक तो paper आसान है. What's so difficult about this paper? The kth term of the arithmetic progression is 0. That means tk equals 0. So kth term means we already know that the first term is equals to 28. So 28 plus n minus 1. N minus 1 means k minus 1 into the common difference, which is minus 4 equals to 0. So let's solve this. 28 minus 4k plus 4 equals to 0. That means 24 is equals to 4k. Sorry, 32 is equals to 4k. 28 plus 4, that's 32. 32 is equals to 4k, which means k is equals to 32 upon 4, which is equal to 8. Okay, now. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Sir Chaudhary, James Khan. Okay, now you guys are just messing around. Let me, however, quickly refresh the scoreboard. And okay. It's the same. I don't see any new submissions. Taha आपके 75 हैं. Taha Hashmi. I think ये एक recent score है. ठीक है. And then I see Samir. I think I already mentioned Samir's score. Then Safwan 74, Naveed 73, Marwa 72, Abdurrahman Sheikh 69, Aman 68. Okay, now. Yeah, you can submit it later also, but obviously there is no legitimacy. Okay, if you're going to submit it after looking at the solution, there is no legitimacy. And I think we'll probably close submissions after a while. Okay. Anyway. Show that angle PCS is equals to 2 upon 3 pi radian. Now this is a very difficult circular measure question. In fact, it's one of the most difficult circular measure questions that I have seen in a long, long time. Let's see what it says. The diagram shows a symmetrical metal plate. The plate is made by removing two identical... Acha beta, those of you who are just messing around now, I'm afraid I will have to put you in timeout for the next 30 minutes. Okay. The boundary of the plate consists of two arcs, PS and QR, of the original circle and two semicircles with PQ and RS as diameters. ठीक हो गया. The radius of the circle with center C is 4 centimeter and PQ is equals to RS, which is also equal to 4 centimeter. That means this is 4 centimeter and this is also 4 centimeter. Okay. Now, the question is asking us to show that PCS is equals to 2 upon 3 pi radian. That means this is what the question is asking us to show, that is equal to 4 pi radian. Now, if you think about it, if I draw a straight line, then this angle will be equal to pi upon 3 radian. Okay, this angle will be equal to pi upon 3 radian. Why? Because it's a equilateral triangle. So, triangle PCQ is an equilateral triangle therefore angle PCQ is equals to pi upon 3 radian. ठीक है, ये लिखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Yeah, I have done this question multiple times in my streams here, right? Achha, so how will I find out angle PCS? So angle PCS will be equal to pi minus pi upon 3, which leads to the conclusion that angle PCS is equals to 2 upon 3 pi, 2 upon 3 pi radian, and hence shown. Okay. Now, let's see what's next. Find the exact perimeter of the plate. Okay. So the exact perimeter of the plate means that we have to see how many lengths there are, add them up, and get the answer. Okay, so if I want the exact perimeter of the plate, we need to see how many lengths there are, find their lengths one by one, and get the answer. So here we go. Let's see how many lengths there are. Okay. Why equilateral triangle? Why not? Why will it not be an equilateral triangle? Read the question. Okay, so if I say, yeah, you're right, I did not mention why it's an equilateral triangle. The radius of this circle is 4. So this is 4, this is 4. And the question also said that PQ is equals to RS, which is 4. Okay, so the radius of the circle is 4. PQ is equals to RS, which is also equal to 4. So that means this becomes 4, this becomes 4, and this becomes 4. Okay? Okay, now. Exact perimeter of the plate. Okay, so how will I notice that the question has made you do all the hard work to find out the perimeter? The question has made you find out this angle, because with the help of this angle, you can find out this arc length. And this length, okay, let me first highlight the lengths that we want. So we want this length. Okay, so we want this length. And then we want this length. Okay, and then we're just simply going to double it. Okay, ye do lengths nikal ke, if I just double the answer, we get the chalk done. Okay. So basically, the exact perimeter of the length, the exact perimeter of the plate will be 2 times arc PS plus 2 times circumference PQ. Okay, now let's see how we can calculate arc PS, considering that we already have the angle and we already have the radius. So arc length kiske barabar hoga? Theta upon 3, wait, I was going to use the math formula. Arc length is simply equal to r theta. So 2 times r theta. R theta means 4 into 2 upon 3 pi. So 2 into 4 upon 3 pi, that is the arc length. बेटा एड मैथ मॉक हो जाएगा, इसमें इतना टेंशन की बात नहीं है. एड मैथ के पेपर में बहुत टाइम है अभी. ठीक है, एड मैथ की स्ट्रीम्स इंशाल्लाह जब स्टार्ट करूँगा तो आई वोंट बी स्ट्रीमिंग एनीथिंग एल्स. एक्चुअली आई विल बी स्ट्रीमिंग एनीथिंग एल्स. लेट मी नॉट कमिट समथिंग आई कांट लिव अप टू. बट एड मैथ का पेपर है 18th में और 26th में. देयर इज़ प्लेंटी ऑफ टाइम. ठीक है, आज 5 अप्रैल है, सो देयर इज़ प्लेंटी ऑफ टाइम गाइस. टेक इट इजी. ठीक है, डू समथिंग एल्स. नाउ plus 2 times the circumference of PQ. So circumference means, now notice that it's a semicircle, so that means 2 pi r upon 2. And what will be the radius of this circle? Please understand PQ is equals to 4. That means the radius of this circle will be equal to 2. ठीक हो गया? So 2 pi 2. So we will divide it by 2 because it's half, and then we will multiply it by 2. अच्छा, अब अगर आप बहुत होशियार हैं, आपने पहले ही figure out कर लिया कि ये दो मिला के एक circle की circumference बन रही है, then stick to it. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'll take all the mocks, M1, S1, P1, P3, math, add maths. So just be patient, guys. ठीक है, अब एक वक्त में तो सारे mocks नहीं कर सकता ना. All right, so this 2 and this 2 cancels. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So we get 16 upon 3 pi plus 4 pi. Let's add this up. 16 upon 3 pi plus 4 pi. Let's see what do we get. As I come to think of it, I can take maths and P1 together. It's not a bad idea. 16 divided by 3 plus 4, that's equal to 28. Or maybe I can take a mock and do another stream at the same time. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Sir, paper leak this time too? 3 year streak continues? Paper leak already? It's not possible. Yeah, okay, abhi se paper leak ho jaye. Anyway. Alright, then it says show that the area of the plate. Area of the plate. चलें बताएं जी, how will I calculate, whoops, how will I calculate the area of the plate? Tell me guys, how to calculate the area of the plate? No coordinate geometry of circle. Yeah, I think there was a coordinate geometry of question. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. To find out the area of the plate, we will have to, Acha dekho. Yeah, you do it in terms of pi and you do it in surd form. I'll tell you the most common error in this question. The most common error in this question is this. Area of circle liya, theek hai? Now from this area of circle, let's look at all the areas that we have to get rid of. Okay, so from the area of circle, what are all the areas that we have to get rid of? We have to get rid of the area of the two semicircles combined, and we also have to get rid of this little area, okay, which a lot of people, I'm afraid, forget. Okay, that's why I like solving this question again and again. So here's what we have to do. जो plate है ना, मैं उसका area shade कर देता हूँ, ठीक है? So this is the area that we're supposed to calculate. Okay, the shaded area that you see. Okay. Now, how can I calculate this area? Yeah, segment. That's correct. So basically, here's how it works. Pay attention. Okay, remember, planning is important. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Remember that. So area of plate, and this planning is for you only, is equal to area of circle, the big circle, minus the area of two semicircles, and once again you can combine them and make a circle, okay, but they are two semicircles, all right? And also minus, let me write this here, बल्कि इधर लिखूंगा जगह ख़त्म हो जाएगी, इधर ही लिख लेता हूँ, minus the area of two segments. Okay, which two segments? These segments. This segment and this segment. Okay? Okay, now let's start securing some marks. Okay, हम क्या करेंगे? Let's start securing some marks. Sir, it looks like water is leaking out of the sun. Okay, let's start securing some marks. Let's calculate the area of a circle. Okay, which is simply going to be pi into 4 squared. Okay? So pi 4 square is equals to 16 pi. ठीक हो गया? Then let's calculate the area of the semicircle. ठीक है? So semicircle को मैंने blue से shade कर दिया. So area of two semicircles, that will be equal to 2 into, now remember, the radius of the semicircle is 2. Okay? So 2 into pi into 2 squared upon 2, and because we have 2 of them, so we're going to multiply them by 2. ठीक हो गया? Now yes, they cancel, so this is equal to 4 pi. Okay? Now let's calculate the area of segment. Ab who can tell me how to calculate the area of segment? अच्छा बेटा, अपने टीचरों की बुराइयां बंद करो, ठीक है? Let's focus on what we're doing right now. ठीक है? If you want to prove your teacher is good, just do well in the exam and that's it. Your teacher is good. ठीक है? This is a debate with no end result. ठीक है? Area of sector minus area of triangle. That's correct. Okay, area of sector minus area of triangle. So to find out the area of segment, here's what we're going to do. Area of sector minus area of triangle. ठीक है? मैंने shading काफ़ी कर दी है, शायद आप लोगों को दिखे ना, but I'll show you what I mean. So to find out this area, the area that I've highlighted in red, shaded in red, we need to find out the area of the sector. We have all the ingredients, ठीक है? And from that, we need to subtract the area of the triangle. ठीक है? इसके भी सारे ingredients हैं हमारे पास. All right. So, and remember, these are two segments. Okay, these are two segments. So in the end, we're going to multiply the answer by 2. Okay? So area of segment is equal to area of sector, which will be half r squared theta, which means half into 4 square into pi upon 3. Okay, so that's half r squared theta minus the area of triangle. Now what formula am I going to use for area of triangle? I'm simply going to use half into 4 into 4 into sine pi upon 3. And then don't forget, since there are two of these, we have to multiply it by 2. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now let's work this out. So 1 upon 2, make sure that your calculator is in radian mode. 1 upon 2 into 4 square into pi upon 3. So into pi upon 3, so this is equal to 8 upon 3 pi. Minus 1 upon 2 into 4 into sine pi upon 3. So this is equal to 4 under root 3. Okay, don't forget that you have to multiply this by 2. Okay, so what do we get? We get 16 upon 3 pi minus 8 under root 3. Okay, so I repeat what I've done. We want to find out the area of one segment, which we can do by first finding out the area of sector. Sector is the big shape. Okay, area of segment is always equal to area of sector minus area of triangle. Okay, याद रखो, segment is always, because segment triangle के बाहर होता है और sector के अंदर होता है. So area of segment is equal to area of sector minus the area of triangle, and then we're going to multiply it by 2 because we have two of these. Nope, angle is not 2 upon 3 pi. We're taking the equilateral triangle, जिसका angle है pi upon 3 or simply 1 upon 3 pi. Okay. Now it's time to put all the pieces of this puzzle together. So area of circle is 16 pi. From this, we subtract the area of the two semicircles, which is 4 pi. And from this, we also subtract the area of the two segments, which is 16 upon 3 pi minus 8 under root 3. And this is it, the moment of truth. Please be the, hopefully this will be the correct answer. So 16 minus 4 minus 16 upon 3. So 16 minus 4 minus 4 upon 3. Sorry, minus 16 upon 3. So this becomes 20 upon 3 pi. And then minus minus will make it plus. So plus 8 under root 3. Please be the correct answer. Yep, there you go. 20 upon 3 pi. वैसे मैंने इतना सॉल्व किया, मुझे याद ही हो गया ये. Centimeter square, hence proved. ठीक है, मज़ा आया? अच्छा, let's move on. Let's move to the next question. Summary. Okay, I'll summarize it. So summary ये है कि you want the area of the shape that you see. Okay, so you want the area of the shape that you see, which will be equal to area of the circle minus the area of the two semicircles. So you need to get rid of these two semicircles, and then you will have to get rid of these two regions as well, area of these two regions as well. Okay, now how will you get rid of, oops, how will you get the desired area? So first, area of circle minus the area of two semicircles minus the area of two segments. Here's the area of circle. Remember, circle has radius 4. Area of two semicircles, each semicircle has radius 2. We find out the area of one, multiply by 2 because there are two of them. Okay. Then area of segment will be equal to what? Area of segment will be equal to area of sector minus the area of triangle. So here's the area of sector minus the area of triangle, and then we double it. We double it because we have two of them. Once we have all the areas, subtract them, subtract all these areas from the area of circle and get the job done. Okay? Okay, now let's solve this. Express minus 3x squared plus 12x plus 2 in this form. Okay, let's do that. So there are multiple ways. Here's the method that I will opt for. I will take minus 3 common. So we have x squared minus 4x. I'll leave a bit of space, close the bracket, write plus 2 alone. Okay. Now we're going to add something. So that means we're going to add the square of 2 and we're going to subtract the square of 2 as well. It gave you 0. बेटा अगर उसने आपको 0 दिया ना तो उसका मतलब है कि आपकी कोई फाइल आपने सही से सबमिट नहीं की. अच्छा, I have some more scores now. Let me see what are the latest scores. I can see कुछ लोगों के 0 आ रहे हैं, but that is probably because आप लोगों ने कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं दिया बेटा. ठीक है, no response. That's why you guys are getting 0. Okay, make sure that you attach your PDF file before you submit. ठीक है, I can see a lot of you are getting 0. So आपको PDF file attach करनी होगी before you Mohammad Tayyab is a recent score जिसके आए हैं 74 out of 79. Then there is Jamie Baby, I don't know who that is, but you got 62 out of 79. So yeah, anyway. Okay, let's continue this. So we have minus 3 bracket open, take a square bracket open actually, and then we have x minus 4 the whole thing square, bracket close, and then this becomes minus 4 square bracket close. Don't forget that there's a plus 2 outside. Okay, so we have minus 3 into x minus 4 the whole thing square. Minus 3 minus 4 is plus 12 plus 2. So let's see क्या बना ये बना plus 14. So minus 3 into x minus 4 the whole thing square plus 14. Okay, now सर मार्क्स एंड में करे टाइम ज़ाया हो रहा है. अच्छा चलो ठीक है, सही बोल रहे हो, मार्क्स एंड में हम देखेंगे. ठीक है. Okay, now the one-to-one function f is defined by so and so. State the largest possible value for the constant k. Okay, now oh yeah, x minus 2 होगा. Sorry, एक मार्क चला गया. x minus 2. x minus 2 squared. Thank you for pointing that out. कौन था? Sarwan. Good job, Sarwan. Okay, now the one-to-one function. Now notice that quadratic functions are not one-to-one functions. They are by default many-to-one functions. So how do I turn a quadratic function one-to-one? Okay, a good idea would be to make a rough sketch. Now this is a maximum curve with turning point coordinates as 2, 14. Okay, so this is what the curve looks like. This is 2 and this is 14. Okay, and by default every quadratic curve is a many-to-one curve. Up the question says the one-to-one function f is defined by, for x is lesser than or equal to k, state the largest possible value of the constant k. So what is the largest possible value for which this is a one-to-one curve? So for it to be a one-to-one curve, remember it must be an either increasing function or a decreasing function, but it can't be both at the same time. So if I start from here, notice that it's increasing, reaches the maximum point, and then after that it's decreasing. That means up until here it's one-to-one. Okay, if you consider any portion after the turning point, it becomes what? It becomes a many-to-one function. So that means the largest possible value of k is equals to 2. Now, I know you can do this without any working, without a diagram, but it's always important that you understand the concept. It is now given that k is less than minus 1, state the range of f. K is equal to minus 1, state the range of f. So simply what you need to do is you need to find out what is f of minus 1. Okay, simply plug in minus 1, let's see what we get. So if you plug in minus 1, you get minus 3 into minus 1 squared plus 12 into minus 1 plus 2. So f of minus 1 turns out to be minus 3 minus 12 plus 2. So that's minus 15 plus 2. What's that equal to? That's minus 13. Okay, so that means minus 1 पे जो value है वो है minus 13. Now this is not drawn to scale, but let's twist it a little. So minus 1 पे जो value आ रही है, so let's just draw a fresh one. ठीक है? And I do encourage that you make a rough sketch. So remember, the turning point is right here, okay? And minus 1, which is, let's suppose, somewhere over here, at minus 1, it's minus 13. Now, lesser than or equal to minus 1 means it's only this part of the curve. Okay, so this part of the curve, what will be the range for this part of the curve? For this part of the curve, the range will be f of x is lesser than or equal to minus 13. ठीक है, there we go. Okay, पिछला वाला part दोबारा बता देता हूँ. Remember, a quadratic function will be a one-to-one function if the domain is either taken after its turning point or before its turning point. So what will be the answer to this question? X is lesser than or equal to k. That means x is lesser than or equal to 2. Simple. ठीक हो गया. Find an expression for f inverse of x. Okay, now, so notice that we have already turned this into completed square form. So f of x किसके बराबर होगा? F of x will be equal to minus 3 x minus 2 the whole thing square plus 14 minus 3 into x minus 2 the whole thing square plus 14. So let's set this equal to y and let's make x the subject. So minus 3 into x minus 2, the whole thing square plus 14. So we have y minus 14 upon minus 3 equals x minus 2, the whole thing square. Okay, remember the objective is to make x the subject one by one. Let's take the square root on both sides so that we can get rid of the square, and whenever you have to take the square root on both sides, you always get a plus minus. So we have x minus 2 equals plus minus square root of y minus 14 over minus 3. Okay, now let's make x the subject. X is equals to plus minus square root of y minus 14 over minus 3. Okay? Over plus 2. Now remember, he has managers for social media. Are you slow? I have managers for social media. अच्छा, okay. Khair, anyway, क्या बात हो रही थी? Yeah. So we have to find, we have to decide whether it's plus or minus. ठीक है? How will I decide whether it's plus minus? This is the domain that's given to us is this. X is lesser than or equal to minus 1. Now because it's lesser than, okay, whenever there is lesser than, that means once we have found out the inverse, we will use the minus sign. So f inverse of x equals minus square root y minus 14. Don't forget in the end to change y to x. So that's going to be x minus 14 upon minus 3 plus 2. Okay? All right. Achha, what do you want me to explain? Previous part. Dekho, previous part mein, this is the curve. Find out the corresponding value when x is minus 1. Okay, why minus 1? Because the question says k is minus 1. So when you plug in minus 1, what you get as a result is minus 13. ठीक है? अब पूरे curve में से मैं आपको इजाज़त दूँ that you're only allowed to look at this part of the curve. Okay, and this part of the curve continues here also. So what will you see the range as? You will see that all values are less than minus 13. That's what you will see, right? You will find all values to be less than minus 13. There you go. And where did we get minus 13 from, in case you're wondering? Because when you plug in minus 1, you get minus 13. IGCSE Math mock beta 7:15 I think start hoga. Okay? All right. So what will happen to private candidates as the exams are cancelled? Beta, reach out to British Council. Reach out to British Council. मैं part C की बात कर रहा था Vanya. If you plug in minus 1, you get minus 13, and all the other values, since you're only allowed to look at the part of the curve where x is lesser than or equal to minus 1, so we have minus 13. Why minus sign for f inverse of x? Okay. Why minus sign? Because the domain is lesser than or equal to. That is why we use the minus sign. Okay? All right. Now. Let's do part C. Part C says the result of transforming the graph y equals to f of x, y equals to, अच्छा marks मैं end में बताऊंगा, ठीक है? First let's finish this, then I'll तब तक सारी checking भी हो जाएगी, फिर end में I'll tell the marks, okay? Sum swap x and y to find inverse, yeah, that's also acceptable, no problem. The result of translating the graph f of y equals to f of x by minus 3 and 1 is the graph of y is equals to g of x. Express g of x in this form. Okay? So let's look at the transformed equation. Oh, sorry, let's look at the equation in completed square form and then let's transform it. Okay, now. Okay. Let's see what we can do. अब देखो, -3 means that it's going to move 3 units towards the left. Okay, how do you make that happen in the equation? You turn x into x plus 3. And this 1 means that it's going to move 1 unit down. How do you make that happen in the equation? Here's how you make the graph move left. You add in x, so x will now become x plus 3. How do you make the graph move down? In the end, you will do, positive 1 means it's up. Sorry, not down. Positive 1 means that it's up. So in the end, you do f of x plus 1. Okay? So I transformed into the original equation without complete. Yeah, you can do it without it also. You can do it without it, no problem. Okay, just that I find that if I do it this way, there's less working. You can use the expanded version also. So this is what g of x will look like, guys. So g of x is equal to -3. Now remember, x will now become x plus 3. ठीक हो गया? And then we have a -2. Don't forget the whole thing square. Okay, so this is the transformation. X has turned into x plus 3. Then you have plus 14 from before, and then you have plus 1 because you want to translate it 1 unit up. Now let's simplify this, and then we will expand it in the next step. So g of x is equals to -3 into x plus 1, the whole thing square, and 14 plus 1, what's that equal to? That's equal to 15. Now let's expand it. So this will be -3 into x square plus 2x plus 1, close the bracket, plus 15. Let's see what do we get. We get -3x square minus 6x minus 3 plus 15, which leads to the conclusion that this is equal to -3x square minus 6x plus 12. ठीक हो गया? That's it. Job done. Let's move on. Okay, question number 7. Question 7 says, by first expanding cos theta plus sin theta, the whole thing square, find the 3 solutions of the equation cos theta plus sin theta, the whole thing square, equals to 1. Let's see how this works. So this becomes cos square theta plus 2 sin theta cos theta plus 2 sin theta cos theta plus sin square theta equals to 1. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1. So that means 1 plus 2 sin theta cos theta is equals to 1, which means 2 sin theta cos theta equals to 1, which leads to the conclusion that sin theta cos theta, equals to 0, which leads to the conclusion that sin theta cos theta is equals to 0. Okay? And this means that it's either sin theta that's equal to 0 or it's cos theta that's equal to 0. If you're using your calculator to solve this, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to solve it. Okay, if you're relying on your calculator and not on your common sense to solve this, you're not going to be able to do it. ठीक है, ये question calculator से नहीं हो रहा, because ये question जो है इसके लिए आपको use करनी पड़ेगी अपनी अकल. You'll have to recall the graph. Okay. Now, when is the graph of sine equal to 0? The graph of sine is equal to 0 at 0, and it's equal to 0 at pi, and it's equal to 0 at 2 pi. ठीक है, just make a rough sketch. Just make a very rough sketch. So this is 0, this is pi, this is 2 pi. Okay, so if sine theta is equals to 0, that means theta is equals to 0, theta is equals to pi, or theta equals to 2 pi. But we don't want 2 pi. Achha, February, March ke papers, beta, I haven't seen them yet, but as soon as I get my hands on them, I will share them with you guys. ठीक है? I mean, I've seen it, but it's not the official version. Official version जब आ जाएगा, I'll share it with you guys. ठीक है? It's some scanned document that I found on Reddit. I'll see if I can put it in Google Drive and share it with you guys. ठीक है? Anyway, then there is cos theta, which is equals to 0. Now, when is the graph of cos theta equals to 0? Once again, let's make a rough sketch so that we have an idea. Cos theta is equals to 0 at pi upon 2 and at 3 pi upon 2. Okay, 90 and 270. So that means theta is equals to pi upon 2 and 3 upon 2 pi. Okay, if you're going to use your calculator or if you solve it, why not 2 pi? Because 2 pi is outside the range. Okay, keep your eyes on the range also. So the value of theta, for the same reason, we're not going to include 3 upon 2 pi. Okay, for that very reason, we're not going to include 3 upon 2 pi. So theta is equals to 0, theta is equals to pi upon 2, and theta is equals to pi. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, so I repeat, you expand. Cos square theta plus sin square theta is equals to 1. 1 minus 1 becomes 0. 2 sin theta cos theta is equals to 0, which means sin theta cos theta equals to 0. That means sin theta is equals to 0. And when is the graph of sine equals to 0? It's equal to 0 at 0, pi and 2 pi. Make sure to exclude 2 pi because that's outside the range. And then cos theta is equals to 0, which leads to the conclusion that theta is equals to pi upon 2 or 3 upon 2, which means 3 upon 2 pi is equals to 0. Sine 2 theta is not in P1, that's why. You can actually use, okay, if you're thinking of using P3 wali identity, you can use that, okay? Because I understand, and they also understand there are a lot of students are giving math composite, so it's inevitable that they will use P3 concepts in P1. So you can do that. See, you only use quadrants when when it's not equal to 0 or it's equal to, when it's not equal to 1. Okay, for 0, 1 and minus 1, it's best that you use the graph to solve it. Okay. Hence verify that the only solution of the equation are 0 and pi upon 2. Okay, how will I verify? Verify isko aise karenge. I got my answer using calculator too, but you're not going to get all the answers. That's the problem. You will get the answer, but you're not going to be able to get all the answers. That is the problem. Okay. So x equals to 0, which means cos 0 plus sine 0 equals to 1. So if I use x equals to 0, cos 0 is 1, sine 0 is 0, so we get 1 equals to 1. So x equals to 0 is correct. Okay, now then let's use x equals to 1 upon 2 pi. So if I use x equals to 1 upon 2 pi, that means cos pi upon 2 plus sine pi upon 2. Let's see if this is equal to 1. So cos pi upon 2 is 0, 0 plus 1 is equals to 1, 1 equals to 1, so this is correct. Okay, ye bhi sahi hai, ye bhi sahi hai. Yeah, obviously I do have the marking scheme for this paper. Okay, so both of them are correct. Now the other solution that I got was x equals to pi. So if I do cos pi plus sine pi, is this equal to 1? Let's see. Cos pi, what is the value of cos pi? Cos pi is 0. What is the value of sine pi? Sine pi, no wait, cos pi is minus 1. Sorry, use your calculator here, okay? Cos pi is minus 1, sine pi is 0. Is minus 1 equal to 1? Nope, it's not. Okay, there you go. So x equals to 0 and x equals to pi upon 2 only. There you go. That's it. Now, prove the identity sine theta over cos theta plus sine theta into 1 minus sine theta over cos theta minus sine theta is equals to so and so. Sir, can we solve a part 2 by making a rough graph? No, it says hence. If it says hence, you don't have any, you can't use any other method, okay? So first things first, the denominator will be equal to cos square theta minus sine square theta. That's the denominator. Sine theta ko kisse multiply karenge? Cos theta minus sine theta. Which means this will now become sine theta cos theta minus sine square theta. Okay? Alright. Isko kisse multiply karenge? Cos theta plus sine theta. Now please do not ego solve. Ego solve ka matlab, don't try and skip steps thinking that you can do it directly. Just write it down first and then do it in the next step. Okay? So ego solve is when you try and solve it directly without showing the relevant, without doing the important working. Okay? It's something that I've come up with. It's not an official term. Okay? Alright. So let's see what we get. We get sine theta cos theta minus sine square theta from before. Okay, so we'll let that be as it is. 1 into cos theta, so that's going to be plus cos theta. Plus 1 into sine theta, so that's going to be plus sine theta. ठीक हो गया. Then we have minus cos theta into cos theta, so that's going to be minus cos square theta. Then we have minus cos theta into sine theta, so that's going to be minus cos theta sine theta. Over, so notice that in the denominator, they want it in terms of sine. So I'm going to turn cos square theta into 1 minus sine square theta. Okay, बजाय इसके कि I do this in the next step, I'll do this in the same step. It's a very accurate term nonetheless. Yeah, I know. I'm quite proud of it as well. You know how there's ego lifting? So there's ego solving also. Anyway, so sine theta cos theta minus sine theta cos theta cancel. ठीक हो गया. Okay, what are we left with? We're left with cos theta plus sine theta. Let's write that down. Cos theta plus sine theta. Then there is minus sine square theta minus cos square theta. Okay. Over 1 minus 2 sine square theta. Now look at the amount of space. There's plenty, but still be careful. So एक काम करते हैं. How about I take minus common after cos theta plus sine theta. So if I take minus common from here, notice what happens. Cos theta plus sine theta. Then let's take minus common. What do we have? We have sine square theta plus cos square theta. ठीक है? Over 1 minus 2 sine square theta. Now what is sine square theta plus cos square theta? That's equal to 1, and that's it. That gets the job done. Cos theta plus sine theta minus 1 over 1 minus 2 sine square theta. हाँ ये भी कर सकते हैं. Cos square को 1 minus sine square theta से भी replace कर सकते हैं. So with identities there are always many ways. It's about what occurs to you first. Okay, let me stretch a little. Next P1 mock I will announce on my Instagram, guys. Stay tuned. ठीक है. Just a minute, guys. Okay. हाँ जी. Will there be a yeah guys, there will be सारे mocks होंगे. ठीक है. Take it easy. S1 भी होगा. P1 S2 नहीं होगा because I don't teach S2. ठीक है. But उसके अलावा O levels, IGCSE Maths, Had Maths, all A level subjects आपके mocks होंगे. ठीक है. अच्छा, let's do part C now. Using the results of A part 2 and B. A part 2 ये रहा. ठीक है. A part 2 ये है ना. And part B, solve the equation. Okay. Now A part 2 and part B. अच्छा, A part 2 में तो हमने ये प्रूफ किया है. ठीक हो गया. और A part 3 में हमने क्या किया है? सॉरी, A part B में हमने ये किया है. Okay, so in part B, we proved that this is equal to this. So let's do that. We have cos theta plus sine theta minus 1 over 1 minus 2 sine square theta. And what is this equal to? This is equal to 2 into cos theta plus sine theta minus 1. I think this is the question that majority of the students got wrong. ठीक है, इसमें ना trick है. There's a trick towards solving this question, which if you miss, you're not going to be able to solve it. Okay. So if you try and expand and then solve it, you're not going to be able to. Okay. However, if I move all the terms to the left hand side, अच्छा space भी ज़्यादा नहीं दी हुई, ठीक है? So there's not a lot of space given either. But still, let's try and be efficient with our working. So cos theta plus sine theta minus 1. How about this? देखो, I was going to cancel, but I'm afraid that if you do cancel, you will end up losing one solution. ठीक है? Technically, I can cancel. ठीक है? There's no harm in that. But remember, if you cancel, okay, if you cancel this, don't forget one thing. Don't forget that you're after cancelling this, this means that cos theta plus sine theta minus 1 equals to 0. It's like this. Pay attention. Imagine that you have this. Imagine that you have x equals to x square. Okay, imagine that you have x equals to x square. Okay, and I write it as x equals to, or maybe x square equals to x. So let's write it like that. Let's suppose you have x square equals to x. Okay? So you might think x square equals to x, na? So all I can do is I can just cross out x from here and I can cross out x from here and lead to the conclusion that x equals to 1. Okay? Now, this is correct, but it's incomplete. Okay? ठीक तो है ये, but this is incomplete. Okay? Why? Because when you cancel, here's the problem with cancelling. If x square is equals to x, that means we'll do x square minus x equals to 0. Then we will take x common. Then we'll have x minus 1 equals to 0, which will lead to the conclusion that x equals to 0 or x minus 1 equals to 0, which means x equals to 1. So whatever you cancel, don't forget that we have to take that equal to 0 also. Okay? So this is the correct solution. Okay? So cos theta plus sine theta minus 1 equals to 0. एक हो गया, ठीक है? And then what happens as a result? So what if wherever cos plus sine theta is, you substitute it as 1. No, cos plus sine theta is not equal to 1. Cos square theta plus sine square theta is equals to 1. Okay, they're not the same. Anyway, so after you cancel, what happens? After you cancel, this is what you're left with. You're left with 1 over 1 minus 2 sine square theta is equals to 2. Okay, which is why we never cancel variables, and when we do cancel variables, we eliminate them. We always take whatever we cancel equal to 0 also. Okay. Now let's cross multiply and solve this. So 1 is equals to 2 minus 4 sine square theta. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now then we have 4 sine square theta is equal to, so in second part they said sine theta plus cos theta equals to 1. No, they did not say that. We had to verify that. Okay, we just had to verify that solution iska jo hai is when x is equals to 0 and when x is equals to pi upon 2. Okay, there's a difference. Equals to 1 means that it's equal to 1 for all values of x. That's not the case. Okay, we only had to verify that they're equal for 2 specific values of theta. So 4 sine square theta is equals to 1, which means sine square theta, again not a lot of space, so let's be careful, is equals to 1 upon 4, which leads to the conclusion that sine theta is equals to plus minus 1 upon 2. Okay, and don't forget that the range is from 0 to pi, which means we're only going to consider positive half, since negative will take us in the third and the fourth quadrant. Now when is sine theta equals to half? Sine theta is equals to half when x is pi upon 3. Okay, use the quadrants to solve, and 2 upon 3 pi. Okay, I will solve this. मैं ये मिटा देता हूँ. I will solve this here to show you. So sine theta is equal to pi upon 3. Sine theta is equals to 1 upon 2, which means pi upon 3 and pi upon 3. And this leads to the conclusion that theta is equals to pi upon 3 and 2 upon 3 pi. Okay? And then we already know the solution of this equation, 0 and pi upon 2 from the previous part. 0 and pi upon 2 from the previous part. Now it's time to take these solutions and combine them and make one list of solutions. So x is equals to 0. I'm not writing them in any order. Pi upon 3, pi upon 2, 2 upon 3 pi. Okay. Let me see if I've done it correctly. No, wait a minute. Let me see if I have done it. Sorry, pi upon 3 nahi hoga. Sorry, should have used a calculator. It's not pi upon 3, it's pi upon 6. It's pi upon 6. Yeah. So this is pi upon 6. And this is also pi upon 6. So in the end, here's what we get. We get pi upon 6, comma, 5 upon 6 pi. And then when you combine the solution, you get pi upon 6. You get 0 actually. Let's start with that. 0, comma, pi upon 6. I know it's confusing, so let's spend some time on it. Pi upon 2 and 5 upon 6 pi. Okay, now. What makes this question challenging is कि यहाँ पे ज़्यादा स्पेस नहीं दी हुई. स्पेस ज़्यादा दे देते ना तो हम इसको रेगुलर तरीके से कर लेते तो कोई मसले की बात नहीं थी. I'll explain this. Pay attention. So basically, this is the question, and we have to use the answer from the previous part. Okay. Now, from the previous part, what we know is this. We know that this is equal to what? This is equal to, yeah, extra space is given in the paper, but I'm just saying the space given to solve this question in particular was not enough. So from the previous part, this is what we were able to conclude, that this is equal to cos theta plus sin theta minus 1 over 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Okay? And then we can replace this as it is, 2 times cos theta plus sin theta minus 1. Okay? अच्छा अब एक काम करते हैं. Let's not take common. Let's move everything to the left-hand side because it's an equation, so we can move things around. So cos theta plus sin theta minus 1 over 1 minus 2 sine squared theta minus 2 times cos theta plus sin theta minus 1 equals to 0. Okay? Now, I know that you guys are thinking that we can cancel, but the problem with cancelling and leaving it there is that you will miss out on a solution. What is that solution? You'll find out. So let's see what we can take common. If you look at the numerator, we can see that we can take cos theta plus sin theta minus 1 common. Okay? And when we take it common, we have 1 minus 1 over 2 sine squared theta minus 2. Okay, so here's what I've done. I've taken it common. Equals to 0. This leads to the conclusion that it's cos theta plus sin theta minus 1 equals to 0. Okay, and we already have the solutions for it. Why? Because we just proved that cos theta plus sin theta equals to 1 for some specific values. And the other solution that we get is this. 1 over 1 minus 2 sine squared theta minus 2 is equals to 0. And this means that we will have to solve this further. This will become 1 over 1 minus 2 sine squared theta equals to 2 cross multiply. So 2 minus 4 sine squared theta equals to 1, which leads to the conclusion that sine squared theta is equals to plus minus 1 upon 2, which leads to the conclusion that sine theta is equals to plus 1 upon 2 only, which means that the solutions that we will have are pi upon 6 and 5 upon 6 pi. Okay? And the solutions to this, we already know from the previous part, they're 0 and pi upon 2. Okay? Achha, अब what if you had cancelled? What if you had cancelled and then just left it there? Okay? So imagine that after reaching this part, you just cancel and just leave it there. Okay? Who can tell me the problem with that? If I just cancel these two, which I can, Okay, there's nothing wrong in cancelling. This is what we end up with. 1 minus 1 over 2 sine square theta equals to 2. That's it. This is what we're left with. And then once again, when you cross multiply, so this will be 1 equals to 2 minus 4 sine square theta, which means sine square theta is equals to 1 upon 2. Yes, when you cancel this and you leave it there, you lose a solution. Okay, so यहाँ पे एक important note लिख लें. Note. When you cancel a variable slash expression from both sides, you lose a solution. Okay. If we don't cancel and expand and solve, no, then you don't end up using the answer to the previous part, Mariam. Question has categorically said that you have to use the answer to the previous part. If you cancel and don't end up solving it, then you're not really using the answer to the previous part. Okay? Now, अच्छा इसका solution क्या है? The solution to the problem is this. Whatever variable slash expression you cancel, after cancelling it, equate it to 0 and solve to get all the solutions. ठीक हो गया? There we go. Yep, it's 1 upon 4. Then when we, sine square theta is 1 upon 4. Okay, and then you take the square root and whatnot. Okay. So how did you know we didn't have to cancel? We never cancel a variable. See, we cancel a constant, that's not a problem. But as far as a variable is concerned, we never cancel a variable from both sides. Okay? That's the standard rule. Because if you do cancel, you always miss a solution. ठीक हो गया? Alright, then let's do question number 8, question number 9. उसके बाद क्या है? Question number 10 भी है. Okay guys, let's speed things up. I have to end this before Maghrib so that I can pray before the next stream starts. Otherwise, we'll have to take a break in between. Okay? Now, a curve is such that dy by dx equals to 6 and I'm ready for the mock for O levels. Beta 7:15 start होगा. ठीक है? So yeah, just sit tight. Yeah, a curve is such that dy by dx and a 1, minus 3 lies on the curve. A point is moving along the curve and at a and the y coordinate of the point is increasing at 3 units per second. Okay, 3 units per second का मतलब, since this is the y coordinate, that means we are given dy upon dt. So dy upon dt equals to 3. Find the rate of increase of a of the x coordinate of the point. So that means we have to find out dx upon dt. This is what we have to find. Okay? And when do we want dx upon dt? We want to find out dx upon dt when x is equals to 1. Okay? Now, here's how it works, guys. क्या कहने लगा था मैं? हाँ. Make a chain rule. Okay, so dx upon dt. Chain rule means you have to multiply two fractions to get it. Previous question, there you go. This is the solution. Okay, now the numerator of the first fraction will be equal to the numerator of what you want. The denominator of the second fraction will be equal to the denominator of what you want. And here you will have something that is common and at the same time relevant to the question as well. So dy upon dt to हमारे पास है. We don't need to worry about that. Okay. All we need to focus on is getting dx upon dy. Now don't freak out. Dx upon dy simply means the reciprocal of dy upon dx. So let's find out dy upon dx when x is equals to 1. So I'm going to plug in 1 in place of x. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 cubed. So that means dy upon dx is equals to 6. Which means dx upon dy will be equal to 1 upon 6. So 1 upon 6 times 3, what is that equal to? That's equal to 1 upon 2. Okay? So this is equal to 1 upon 2. Yep, that is correct. 3 easy marks. Let's see what's the next equation. Find the equation of the curve. Find the equation of the curve. Let's see how we can find out the equation of the curve. Pretty basic. Integrate. You will have to deal with the c. Find out the value of c by plugging in the point through which the curve is passing. Okay, before you integrate, remember in questions like these, it's always a good idea to make them integration ready, meaning writing them in a way that it's easy for you to integrate. So dy upon dx is equals to 6, bracket open. Let's move this in the numerator. So it's going to be 3x minus 2, the whole thing raised to the power minus 3. So we put an integral on both sides. We get y is equals to 6, bracket open, 3x minus 2. The whole thing raised to the power minus 3 plus 1, which is minus 2, divide by the new power, which is also minus 2, and also divide by the differential of the bracket, which is 3. And don't forget a plus c towards the end. So 6 and minus 6 will give us minus 1. Let's move this in the denominator again so that we can plug in values easily. Don't forget that the power is now 2 plus c. And we are given a point through which it's passing, and that point has coordinates 1, minus 3. So let's plug in this point so that we can find out the value of c. So minus 3 is equals to minus 1. 3 into 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. Squaring it will remain, we'll keep it as 1 only. So we get the value of c to be equal to minus 2, which means we have minus 1 over 3x minus 2, the whole thing square, minus 2. That's it. Job done. My teacher cut marks because I didn't write dx. Say kya? The more strict your teacher is right now, the better it is. You'll probably thank your teacher later. Okay. Now, the diagram shows the part of the curve with equation y equals to k x cubed minus 7x squared plus 12x. So for the previous question, if it was only greater than pi, then we would never cancel. Yeah, because the solutions, the thing is you never cancel. Okay. You never cancel. But yes, if it was greater than pi, you wouldn't need those solutions that were 0 and half pi that you got by solving the equation that you cancelled. Okay? So won't it be minus 1 upon 2 in the first part? Why would it be minus 1 upon 2? Nope, it's not minus 1 upon 2. It's positive 1 upon 2. There's nothing minus about it. It's all positive. Okay, now find the value of k. So how do we find out the value of k? We are given the point through which the curve is passing. Let's use that. So 2 is equals to k times 2 cube minus 7 times 2 squared plus 12 times 2. This will give you the value of k. I'm just going to write down the answer directly. And that's equal to 1 upon 2. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now. Verify that the curve meets the line y equals to x again when x is equals to 5. So that means if the curve is meeting the line, that means if I plug in x equals to 5, y should also be equal to 5. So this is the equation x cubed minus 7x squared plus 12x. No need to solve it all the way. So we just need to verify. So all we have to do is we're going to plug in x equals to 5 and see what is y equal to. Since it's meeting the line y equals to x again, that means the value of y should also be equal to 5. If it's not, then that means we've done something wrong. So don't equate it to 5 yet. Solve it and show that it's equal to 5. So half into 5 cubed minus 7 into 5 squared plus 12. Show that y is equals to 5. Okay, and write x equals to 5, y equals to 5, hence shown. That's it. ठीक हो गया? Okay, now. Next part says, find showing all necessary working area of the shaded region. Okay, how will I find area of the shaded region? Question for you guys. Tell me how to find area of shaded region. So first of all, let's plan. Okay. Now tell me, what's a good plan for this? A good plan would be area under the curve minus area of the triangle. Okay? Area under the curve minus area of the triangle. ठीक है? So area of shaded region, remember planning is important, okay? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Area of shaded region equals to area under the curve minus area of triangle. Okay, so let's find out the area under the curve using what? Using the limits 0 and 2. Okay, so the equation of the curve looks like this: 1 upon 2 into x cube minus 7x square. Yep, math mock starts at 7:15, inshallah. Okay, so we have to integrate this. So we have to integrate equation of the curve within the limit 0 and 2. So that's x cube minus 7x square plus 12x, ठीक है, with respect to x. अच्छा, अब एक काम करते हैं, अब इस हाफ को बाहर ले आते हैं. Okay, and what are the limits? The limits are 0 and 2. So let half be as it is so that it does not interfere with the rest of your working. Let's put a square bracket here. This will become x power 4 upon 4 minus 7x cube upon 3 plus 12x square upon 2, which will make it 6x square. Okay. And what are the limits that will go in? The limits that will go in are 2 and 0. Okay. Okay. So this is equal to half into a square bracket. So 2 power 4 upon 4 minus 7 into 2 power 3 upon 3 plus 6 into 2 power 2. So this is the upper limit plugged in. Now when you plug in the lower limit, we can see that it's going to be 0 because everything gets multiplied by 0. Okay, now let's use the calculator over here. So we have 2 power 4 upon 4 minus 7 bracket 2 cube upon 3 plus 6 bracket 2 square into 1 upon 2. So we get 14 upon 3. Okay? So what we end up with is 14 upon 3. Now let's calculate the area of triangle. So area of triangle will be equal to half into base into height. The base will be 2, the height will also be 2. Okay, ये base आ गई, base 2 है, ये height आ गई, height भी 2 है. So half into 2 times 2, which is equal to 2 only. Now all we have to do is subtract. So 14 upon 3 minus 2. So let's subtract 2 from it. We get 8 upon 3, and that is the correct answer. Can't be considered as a whole triangle and integrate. Yeah, you can do that also. You can do that also, but it's always a good idea to do it as a shape rather than doing it as a using the equation. S2 beta, I don't teach S2. For S2, either use Sir Zain's channel. I don't know if he does S2 or use Sir Salman's channels. ठीक है, Math Tank with Salman, वो use कर लें आप लोग. Okay, now let's do the last question. Let's start wrapping things up. Achha, these kind of questions have been added, I think, in 2022. Okay, and they're very easy. Initially, students made a lot of big deal about it, but they're actually very easy. Okay, so first of all, you integrate just normally. Yeah, we're not treating it as a right angle triangle. We know that it's a right angle triangle. See, this is the area that you want, right? So this will be a right angle triangle because this is a horizontal and this is a vertical length. So we're not treating it. We are basically, we know that it's a right angle triangle. Okay, now, yeah, 67 out of 75. By the way, this paper was not out of 75. This paper was out of 79, but that's still a good score. So I equated the polynomial to x on both sides, and no, that's not wrong. It's just that it's a lot of working. Just make a cross, not a dot with a circle, not a cross with a circle, just make a cross. So 3x minus 2, shift the power in the numerator, so it will become, thank you, appreciate that, minus 3 upon 2. Okay, now integrate this normally with respect to x. So this will become 3x minus 2, raise it to the power minus 3 upon 2 plus 1. So that will be minus 1 upon 2 divided by the new power, which is minus 1 upon 2 into the differential of the bracket. That's 3. Now, because we have limits, we're not going to do a plus c. So minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 2 into 3, 1 divided by answer. So here's what we get. We get minus 2 upon 3 into 3x minus 2 raised to the power minus 1 upon 2. Now, before we plug in the limits, let's write it nicely. So minus 2 upon 3, ठीक है, इसको side पे कर लेते हैं. And as far as plugging in the limits is concerned, let's plug in the limits here. 1 upon 3x minus 2. In this, let's plug in the limits infinity and 1. Okay. Now, what happens when you plug in infinity? Observe. Infinity means that we have plugged in a very large value. जी बेटा O level का mock होगा 715 पे. Okay, so in the denominator, we will get infinity. And then if I plug in 1, that means in the denominator, it will be 1 into 3 into 1 is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, anything divided by infinity is equals to 0. Okay, it's, let's say you have 1 rupee and you want to distribute it between the entire town. So everybody gets nothing, 0. Okay, numerator is less, denominator is very big. So the end result is going to be approximately equal to 0. Okay, what happens as a result is this. This approaches 0. Okay, this is equal to 0. So this becomes minus 2 upon 3 into 0 minus 1, which means minus 1. And then the final result is simply 2 upon 3. So in the previous part, but I think I've already answered that. If you equated it to y equals to x and solved, that's fine. No problem. Okay. All right. Now let's move on and let's solve this question. This question says the diagram shows the curve with equation y equals to so and so. The shaded region is bounded by the curve, the x-axis, and the line x equals to 1 and x equals to 2. The shaded region is rotated 360 degrees about the x-axis. So when you rotate something about the x-axis, remember, here's what happens. It's pi into integral of y square with respect to x. Okay? Volume of revolution means the volume that you get after rotating it. Okay? So step 1 is that we find y square. So y square means simply take y and square it. So what happens if I square this? 3 upon 2. इसको square कर लेते हैं. So 1 को square करेंगे तो उसको तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. But when you square the denominator, it becomes 1 over 3x minus 2, the whole thing cubed. Because 3 upon 2, when you multiply that by 2, the denominator cancels, and this is what it becomes. Okay, so we have plenty of space. Keep an eye out for that. Now what we have to do is we have to integrate this. Now, before I integrate, I will shift it in the numerator so that it's easy for me to integrate. I will start M1 inshallah from the coming week. Okay, coming week mein main M1 ko time dunga, don't worry. Okay, what we're going to do now is this. We're now going to add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. Okay, so let's integrate. So pi को थोड़ी देर के लिए भूल जाते हैं. ठीक है, we'll bring it back later. So 3x minus 2 raised to the power minus 3 plus 1, that's minus 2. So divide by the new power, which is also minus 2, multiplied by the differential of the bracket, so that's 6. So this becomes minus 1 upon 6 into 3x minus 2 raised to the power minus 2. Okay, don't forget the limits. The limits are, so beta, I don't know if you're not paying attention. I've already answered your question. I don't know how many times already. So please stop repeating the same thing again and again. Okay, now. So here's what we get. Don't forget that you have to multiply this by pi also, and you have to plug in the limits 1 and 2 and 1. All right, so सबसे पहले तो let's write this nicely. Let's take the minus 1 upon 6 pi outside. ठीक है, let's clean it up. And now let's shift this in the denominator. Let's write it as 1 over 3x minus 2 the whole thing square. And now let's plug in the limits. ठीक हो गया. So we have minus 1 upon 6 pi, square bracket open. If I plug in 2, let me just write down the answer directly. So 1 over 3 into 2 minus 2, the whole thing square. So we get 1 upon 16. Okay. Then minus, let's plug in the upper limit. The lower limit. The lower limit is 1. So the lower limit gives us 1. So here's what we get. Minus 1 upon 6 pi into minus 15 upon 16. Let's see what this gives us. First of all, minus minus cancel ho jayega. So this will become 15 pi over 16 times 6, which is 96. Let's simplify. 15 divided by 96. That's equal to 5 over 32. And that is, in fact, the correct answer. Okay. So I'll summarize. Long story short, here's what you have to do. You have to square y, integrate it, plug in the limits 2 and 1, multiply by pi. That's all I've done. So square y, this is what you get. Integrate it, this is what you get. Multiplied by pi, this is what it becomes. Plug in the limits, this is what you get. And then in the end, multiplied by minus 1 upon 6 pi. So last part, the normal to the curve at the point 1, 1 crosses the y-axis at the point A. Find the y-coordinate of A. Okay, so what does y look like? Y, when written nicely, looks like this. 3x minus 2 raised to the power minus 3 upon 2. 3x minus 2 raised to the power minus 3 upon 2. Let's differentiate. Dy by dx becomes minus 3 upon 2 into 3x minus 2. What to do? If it's about the y-axis, then you make x the subject and square it. Okay, then it's x square. Take 1 away from the power, so this will become minus 5 upon 2 multiplied by the differential of the bracket, so this becomes 3. So dy by dx starts to look like this. Minus 9 upon 2, bracket open, 3x minus 2, the whole thing raised to the power 5 upon 2. Now plug in x equals to 1, and when you plug in x equals to 1, you will get the gradient of tangent. Okay, so I'm going to do that using the calculator only. 2 bracket open, 3 bracket open, 1. Actually, calculator we use करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 raised to any power will remain 1. So the gradient of tangent is minus 9 upon 2. Which means that the gradient of normal will be positive 2 upon 9. And we also need a point through which it's passing. That's 1, 1. Now simply form the equation. Y minus 1 is equals to, 2 upon 9. Not 2 upon 3, 2 upon 9. Is equals to 2 upon 9 into x minus 1. ठीक हो गया. Now notice that you want the point at which the normal crosses the y-axis, which means simply plug in 0 in place of x. See what happens. So y minus 1 is equals to 2 over 9 into minus 1. So y is equals to minus 2 upon 9 plus 1. So y is equals to 7 over 9. ठीक हो गया. And that brings me to the end of this paper. Yeah. So this, I would say, was of medium difficulty level, not extremely difficult, medium difficulty level, more or less. Okay. So let me see the marks. If you guys want to know your marks, I've explained that you have to, there is a link where you can submit your mock. Make sure that you submit it as a scanned PDF. Okay. If you just submit an empty document, so it's not going to be able to grade you. Okay. I can see that a lot of you have just submitted empty documents, which is why it's not able to grade. Okay, now let me look at the marks one more time and see if there are any good. Okay, Uzair Suhail is still on top, 76 out of 79. Then some recent submissions. There is Sumera. Sumera, आपके आए 73 out of 79. Good job there. अच्छा, फिर आए हैं, मैं भी देख के बता रहा हूँ. फिर रिसेंट सबमिशन किसकी आई है? फरहान. ओके, फरहान आपके मार्क्स देख लेते हैं. फरहान, आपका टेस्ट नहीं रिसीव हुआ. For some reason I haven't. ठहरो, let me search. Nope, Farhan, can't see your test. Alize. Nope, Alize आपके भी नहीं मुझे दिख रहा है. No wait, Alize Fatma Nurani, I see it. Alize आपके भी फाइल में कोई प्रॉब्लम है? I think it's okay. Wait a minute. Now, Alize, आपका there is some other problem. I can see you've attached the file. Okay, let me see. Let me discuss it with the team, see what is this issue. आपकी फ़ाइल तो आ गई है, but for some reason आपका आंसर उसने डिटेक्ट नहीं किया है. अच्छा, anyone else? Will paper get leaked? I don't know बेटा, I don't know will paper get leaked or not. हाँ, re-upload कर लो if you can. Re-upload कर लो. चलें, I'm going to stop here. I will see you guys inshallah in the next class, ठीक है, in the next stream. Stay tuned. I will announce on my Instagram whatever topic it is. अच्छा, Muslim बेटा आपके भी 0 हैं, 0 out of 79. Once again, I can see. Let me see if you have submitted the file. अच्छा, please understand this is still in its infant stages. ठीक है, ये पूरा सेटअप जो है. अच्छा मुस्लिम, आपका पेपर तो मैं देख रहा हूँ, आपके पेपर तो आपने किया हुआ है, बट आई डोंट नो व्हाई उसने आपको मार्क्स 0 दिए हैं. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, जितने भी लोगों के 0 है ना, लेट मी जस्ट डिस्कस इट विद द टीम, सी व्हाट इज़ द इशू, और जो भी आप लोगों का एक्चुअल ग्रेड बन रहा है ना, आई ट्राई एंड मेक श्योर दैट यू गाइस सी योर एक्चुअल ग्रेड. ठीक है, सो आई विल स्टॉप हियर. या देयर विल बी मोर मॉक्स इंशाल्लाह, डोंट वरी. Just stay tuned. I will announce on my Instagram whenever I'm taking the mock. ठीक है, अभी कुछ दिनों में inshallah I'll be streaming functions, differentiation, integration, all that stuff. So yeah, I will stop here. I'll see you guys inshallah in the next stream. Take care fellas. Allah Hafiz.